Now, I've been saying and warning about this for years, but now it looks like almost every day we are getting closer to the inevitable war with Iran. There's a lot of disturbing developments right now in the Middle East as we're finding out that Saudi Arabian pipelines have been, quote, attacked by alleged explosive-laden drones. There's another sabotage attack of 4 ships, 2 Saudi oil tankers that were mysteriously damaged in a, quote, sabotage attack, which, of course, the United States is automatically blaming on Iran and, quote, Iranian proxies. Well, whatever that means. Seeing a lot of the mainstream media coverage of this will make you understand the importance of independent media. Just watching Fox and Friends of Fox News this morning, I remember seeing one of the representatives, or you can't even call him journalist anymore, saying, our brave Secretary of State, former CIA head Pompeo, has to travel all around Europe because Iran is a threat to the world. Again, just puppeteering propaganda lines. We also got a comment that's very disturbing from the German foreign minister, who said that, quote, we do not want it to come to a military conflict. Quote, it was clear that Europe and the United States were going about it in different ways. Of course, taking different courses, directly telling you that Europe does not want a conflict, but the United States sees it in a different way and is going about it in a completely different way. Again, it's been Europe that has been mainly trying to keep the peace between Iran and the rest of the U.S. Saudi Arabian Israeli coalition that is mainly against them. They have also tried to, of course, offer trade deals with Iran to manage the bigger Iran nuclear deal that Donald Trump, of course, eliminated. But many European countries have come out on record saying that they have abandoned a lot of these efforts to trade with Iran because of fear of punishment by the United States. This, of course, is all happening as the United States is locking out Iran from, of course, the world market. This is economic warfare that has been happening for a while, and this is an incredibly, incredibly dangerous situation since, of course, we know Russia and China are also closely aligned with Iran. Jason, what do you make of these latest developments? We should really go into detail about what's happening here with each specific instance that is being used as a justification to kind of attack Iran here.
Well, let's look at the 4 ships right out of the gates, okay? You have 2 Saudi Arabian ships, 1 UAE ship, and you have a ship from Norway, oil tankers, if you will. They're saying they were attacked by Iranian forces or Iranian-backed forces. They're saying that they used Yemenis drones. Think about that. Yemen, a country that our Congress and then Senate voted to get us out of, said we want to stop drone bombing them, and then our president vetoes that. Lo and behold, all of a sudden, they're sending drone bombs in conjunction with Iran, the new enemy. We know that we sent ships there in an escalation after things went down in the Golan Heights region with Israel and supposed Iranian-backed forces back and forth. But we also know that was scheduled well before then. And now,
yeah, and that's, Jason, I'm sorry to cut you off, but even the article that we're talking about here, a lot of things on the news say that they were just sent there because of recent provocations, because of a recent new terror threat. As we know, it's all a lie. But even the article that we have up here mentions that, yes, they did it now because of the recent other threats by Iran, which, again, no evidence at all being presented here, just puppeteering of U.S. official government lines, of Pentagon lines, by, of course, the U.S. mainstream media. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
So, yeah, you're also watching in the side clip there. Those are B-52s coming into Qatar because of the supposed Iranian threat. It's been talked about that now 120,000 troops are going to be surrounding that region in the sea. That's not good. That's a huge, huge, huge escalation in where we are. And while this is all going down, guess what? Oil prices jump. Oil prices jump. Now, let me be clear. These attacks caused no casualties, no damage other than glam damage, and no oil spill whatsoever. So now you're telling me the people that are such a threat to us, Iran and Yemen, who we are, again, drone bombing in conjunction with Saudi Arabia, pick to attack strategic targets in such a horrible manner it does no damage other than to ensure that U.S. troops and forces will be escalated in that region. Does that sound correct to you? Especially when Iran the day before was talking about possible false flags, and today they have absolutely denied any involvement in these actions. But hey, that's not on MSNBC or Fox News, is it?
Yeah, we have to understand here, obviously, Iran is the weaker power here. Why would they be going on the offensive? Why would they be launching these strikes? That's why the language here has been very vague, very generalized. They say in the mainstream media and by the kind of pro-warmongers at the Pentagon, Iran or Iranian proxy forces. Like, what is that supposed to mean? And then again, the threat assessment that they made to supposedly justify this latest incursion, which was happening a month before, which the mainstream media just keeps reporting as if it's true now, was, of course, against a new terror threat by Israel that said they're going to attack somewhere in the Middle East. I mean, it's just the way that they're setting this up, it's all based on lies. It's all disingenuous. The mainstream media is just literally taking everything and just regurgitating. Meanwhile, Donald Trump at his office is literally getting the plans for troop deployments to the numbers of 120,000 U.S. troops is being proposed right now by, of course, the acting Pentagon chief and the DOD. Literally have the plans on Donald Trump's desk right now to send 120,000 U.S. troops to the Middle East to prepare for a potential conflict, which again, it's inevitable. From all the analysis, from everything that I've seen, this is also the same amount of troops that were sent in before the Iraq invasion. So everything here looks extremely, extremely, extremely troubling. And it's even more troubling when you see at the duplicitous lies, the disinformation, and just straight up propaganda when it comes to reporting on any of these important developments. Now, it's important to question everything here. It's important to be critical of Iran. It's important to be critical of the United States. Again, what we're seeing here is ultimately a larger class of civilizations between the Sunnis and Shiites, with Israel and the United States involved, of course, hoping to take out their latest, greatest geopolitical threat in the region, Iran. Russia, China will, of course, get involved if this happens. This will spark, I believe, a very, very, very disastrous situation on the global world stage that doesn't benefit anyone. There's no particular reason. How is Iran, again, what they're talking about right now is Iran spreading global terrorism. Iran mainly is Shia. You look at global terrorism, that has the fingerprints and all the underlinnings of predominantly Sunni extremists, which is directly correlated with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, which of course punishes Shias, which of course is punishing them in Yemen right now, going after the Houthi rebels in that country. And it shows you just how brutal this conflict could be in Yemen and how unending it could be, as right now we have the worst humanitarian crisis created by Saudi Arabia, by the United States in Yemen, affecting millions. And yet, when it comes to criticizing Donald Trump, people talk about his rhetoric, people talk about his language, people talk about his tweets. Actually talk about what he's doing here. Like, I don't understand. We're living in such a self-obsessed, egotistical, self-involved culture that we're literally getting played like the fiddle as they're creating the next Iraq war, and no one cares because everyone cares about some dude who puts makeup on and tries to get straight dudes to have relations with them. This is literally the talk that's dominated here. If we lived in a world that actually cared about human life, I think this would be the bigger topic here, Jason.
Again, there's so much going on, and the propaganda is thick. You see NBC trying to spin that ship sabotage mystery raises fears of accidental conflict with Iran. There's nothing accidental about this. When you have warmongers like Gina Haspel, John Bolton, and Mike Pompeo in there, this is the path we are on. And this neat Newsweek piece is spot on. Okay, this is from yesterday. The best way to avert war with Iran? Fire John Bolton. This man has been at the forefront of talking points for 15 plus years of going in with military intervention in that region. There is no doubt. He has always said that military conflict in Iran is the way to go. He's always advocated bombing them. And remember, they were the original part of the axis of evil after 9/11, and every single one of those nations, other than North Korea, has now fallen under the globalists. That's the truth of the matter. And hey, they might not have gotten it in 5 years. They might not have gotten it in 10 years. They didn't get it in 15, but here we are, Luke, almost 18 years after 9/11, and we may actually see U.S. boots on the ground in Iran within the next 6 to 12 months, and that frightens me.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrifying. Look at the tensions that are happening. Look what's happening on the world stage. Look at the markets that are being affected. And again, this is what I talked about in yesterday's video, pretty much reassuring people that, hey, when there's economic troubles ahead in empires, empires typically, historically, usually always, statistically, look at a war as an answer to that. Sadly, there's a big economic problem looming. Who knows if it's the current little hiccup that happened now? I'm not saying it did, but yeah, man, all signs point to conflict. Again, this is, again, my own assessment from my own research. It looks like the conflict with Iran will happen. My own personal opinion, based off some of the evidence we showed you in this video and just some of the evidence we've been showing and highlighting for years on this YouTube channel. There's a lot of disinformation around here. There's a lot of crap. Let's just hope and pray that the American people are not going to be pacified, are going to stop looking at themselves and stop taking their selfies and actually care about this issue and voice their opposition to it to stop it. Since it has been public opposition, it has been a lot of public voices that predominantly have had a huge impact in preventing a lot of the wars that the U.S. empire has previously tried to create. So if you believe in that, share this video. Jason, I really don't have anything else to say on this matter. Do you? And do you want to close it off here?
You know, I just want to remind people that we just escalated this conflict because Israel gave us intelligence that Iran or Iran-backed proxy forces were going to threaten U.S. interests. They provided no evidence. They made it as broad as possible. And here we are, less than 2 weeks later, with an escalation we have never seen in this Iranian situation. It needs to be paid attention to, and we need to push back against it, folks. And I'm promising you, this organization is going to be pushing back against this like we do so many other things that the mainstream media celebrates. So please make sure you are subscribed to both News for a Change and WeAreChange. You're smashing that thumbs up, you're sharing this stuff in social media, and you're being the change you want to see in the world.